Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about my breastfeeding journey. I've had a lot of ups and downs. It definitely isn't what I thought it was going to be. Had a lot of struggles, had a lot of victories. But yeah, I just want to share hopefully some advice or experiences that I've been through can maybe help another woman. Um, in their journey. So here, I'm just here to share what kind of I've been through. So basically, when she was born, she did not latch at all. She was very, very terrible latch. Um, so when she finally did latch, I kind of had to milk express, or I had to feed on a spoon for the first couple days, and then finally, I think like day 4 or 5, she finally latched. But it was so painful, and everybody says, oh, at first it's a little painful and then it gets better, but it was so excruciating that I couldn't even wear a t-shirt for days, weeks. And so finally, after about like 2 weeks of like her, like struggling to latch and everything like that, she was finally latching pretty consistently, but it still hurt so bad. It was so painful. So after about a month, I was like, okay, I gotta go see a lactation consultant, see what's going on, see what the issue is, because she just kept coming on and off the breast, and it just wasn't like I thought. I was like 2 weeks, okay, I'll struggle within 2 weeks. But I was like, okay, it's been a month now and I'm still really struggling. So what's going on? So I went to go see a lactation consultant, and she was very, very nice, but I did not have a great experience with her recommendations. So the first thing that she basically concluded with me was that I have a flow issue and a supply issue. At 1 month, I have these issues, and I just thought to myself, I was like, well, I don't have any like pre-existing conditions that would have, affected my supply to the point where I basically couldn't breastfeed. So I was like, okay, I understand. Like, I know some people go on supplements and things like that. And she said, yeah, well, you can go on this medication. It's a heart medication, but it's proven to increase milk supply. And I was like, wow, like heart medication? Like, and in my head, I'm thinking, like, I kept thinking, I'm like, I'm a new mom, 1 month into breastfeeding. I just found it so bizarre that I had to just automatically jump to a medication. Like, I just found it crazy that there was no sympathy or like realism that, yeah, like this is normal. Like, I wasn't told this was normal. So I was like, okay, like, I guess what do I do? And like, how long am I gonna have to be on the medication? Like, a couple weeks, maybe kickstart the supply, blah blah blah. And she's like, no, you're gonna have to be on it for as long as you're breastfeeding. And I'm like, what? Like, that to me was just insane. And so I specifically had to ask her, well, what can I do? Like, is there nothing else that I can do in order to increase my supply? And she said, oh, well, you can try some herbs, but they typically don't work as well, and blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try the herbs because I'm desperate to breastfeed and I'm not gonna go on heart medication. I'm a young, healthy, new mom that has no heart complications, so it just seemed bizarre, unwise, and just kind of dumb, to be honest, to do that for myself. I didn't like the idea. So I tried, and she's like, okay, well, try the blessed thistle and fenugreek for 3 days, and if it doesn't increase, then let's do the medication. And I was like, okay. And then she also sent me home with like a tube that I had to have like formula or breast milk in a container, and the tube would go from that container down my chest, taped to me, and then I would have to stick it into her mouth. so that the flow was faster and see if she would latch better. And apparently she latched better with that when the lactation consultant saw. But when I came home and tried that, it was like a mess. Like there was just like formula and milk everywhere. It just wasn't working. And I was like, this is so exhausting. Like, I'm not doing this every single time. The thing keeps falling out. Like, I was like, no. So I personally trusted my instinct, and I was like, it's not a flow issue. Like, I know I have milk in there. I would express and it would go everywhere. I know I have milk in there. I know it's not a flow issue. I am just trusting my instinct that I'm just new at this. And baby is just very new at this. Baby's only 1 month old. So I just kind of ditched everything that she said, and I just trusted my own, like, womanly body that I was going to be able to get the hang of it. And as long as she didn't decrease in weight where I had to supplement with a bottle, I was going to give breastfeeding my all. And that's what I did. I scrapped everything. I scrapped the tube and everything like that. And honestly, within 3 days, my milk supply was fine. Her latch was fine. It still really hurt, but honestly, as the days progressed, every single time she latched, like I'm talking from morning to evening of the same day, like it was such a slow progression, but there was so much progress between night and day. Like every single time she latched, she would latch for like 5 seconds longer. So imagine multiplying that by days. That within weeks, she was latching for the full 15-20 minutes that she should have been latching for and getting a full feed, and it was the best time of my life. I was so relieved. Hey, I was so relieved that I didn't, trust her, unfortunately, and then that's what's sad. Like, we should be able to trust our professionals, but I knew my body better, and I acted on that, and I chose to not listen to her at all. Again, very nice lady, had the best instincts, or had the best intentions, but it was not for me, and I'm so happy that I had the intuition to know that. And I just hope that, like, for other women, if something just doesn't feel right or it doesn't make sense and you're struggling, and especially if you're new at something, please get multiple opinions, because one person's opinion may not be what's best. Like, if you still don't know what to do, even if you don't, even though you don't know what your gut feeling is, but your gut feeling is saying, like, this information just seems wrong, like, honestly, get second, third, fourth opinions, because if I had asked even one other person, they would have told me that's ridiculous. Like, don't go on the heart medication. So anyway, I'm very happy that we stuck it out. Her mouth grew as time went on. The pain just got less and less, and it finally started to just feel like regular breastfeeding, the way it should. Like, all the advice, all of the pictures on the internet, like, everything, all the describing words of, oh, it shouldn't feel painful, it should just feel like a tug. It all came true after about, I would say, like maybe 2.5 months. We were smooth sailing.